On January 23, 2025, the 97th Academy Award nominations were announced. Many were holding out hope for nominations for their favorite films like Challengers, Sing Sing, and Dune Part 2, while some were just hoping that Emilia Perez would get snubbed in every category that it could. But the part that no one was expecting was the moment that a quiet Brazilian political drama happened to shock the world when
I'm Still Here, nominees to be determined.
I'm Still Here, or Ainda Estou Aqui in Portuguese, is the first Brazilian-produced film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Directed by Rio de Janeiro native Walter Salles, I'm Still Here is a political biographical drama depicting the story of Eunice Paiva, a mother and activist coping with the arrest and disappearance of her husband, Congressman Rubens Paiva, during Brazil's military dictatorship in the 1970s. Based on his son Marcelo Rubens Paiva's 2015 memoir of the same name, the film became an enormous hit in Brazil and a quiet hit with critics because of the triumphant lead performance by Fernanda Torres, which also led to another historic moment.
And the Golden Globe goes to Fernanda Torres, I'm Still Here.
Fernanda Torres winning the Golden Globe is symbolic when she was in the same category as Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, and Kate Winslet, who are all favorites of the Golden Globes. If you have watched I'm Still Here, it is not surprising why she won. I am calling it right now. Give Fernanda Torres the Oscar for Best Actress. She is winning the Oscar for Best Actress. I originally was Team Demi Moore for The Substance, but I left the theater for I'm Still Here in tears, and Fernanda Torres specifically was a huge reason why I felt so sad at the end of I'm Still Here. The outcry online from the dedicated Brazilian fan base about I'm Still Here is so deserved. It's not only a story about the lives of a family, but it is documenting Brazilian history and a part of Brazilian history that was kept hidden for many years and that the government intentionally tried to hide. The film is exquisitely shot and feels like a documentary. It is shot so lifelike and so realistic that you feel like you know the people in the family. I don't want to spoil the ending of the film, but for the last 10 minutes of I'm Still Here, the movie theater I was in was filled with sniffling and people crying. Fernanda Montenegro, who is Fernanda Torres' mother, makes a very brief appearance in the film at the end, and I was fighting tears the entire time she was on screen. Her eyes said so much, and yet she was saying nothing at all. This film is crafted so beautifully, so poetically, and so realistically that it is extremely difficult to leave the movie theater without being completely overwhelmed by what you just saw. The ending of I'm Still Here makes you realize that this was not just a story or just a film, but that this was people's lives, and some of those people are still living, and it's not only awful what happened to them, but that they are still seeking justice to this day. In this video, I want to analyze Fernanda Torres and why her Academy Award nomination and potential win are historic, why I'm Still Here should win over Emilia Perez in every category that they're contending, and why Brazil is fighting so hard for Oscar glory, and why they may finally get it. Fernanda Torres' mother, Fernanda Montenegro, made history in 1999, becoming the first Brazilian actress to be nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards for the film Central Station. Central Station is also directed by Walter Salles. 1999 is a very controversial year at the Oscars because Harvey Weinstein infamously did a lot of behind-the-scenes campaigning to rig some of the categories in his favor for his film Shakespeare in Love. And many critics and people throughout Hollywood thought that Fernanda Montenegro, who is considered the greatest Brazilian actress of all time, would take the Best Actress prize. But then somehow, a surprise upset happened, where Gwyneth Paltrow won for Shakespeare in Love instead.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
And since Fernanda Montenegro's historic nomination for Central Station, there hasn't been any Brazilian acting nomination since 1999. Until now. I don't want to give away too much about the plot of I'm Still Here so that it encourages people to see this film, but holy shit, is Fernanda Torres amazing as hell in this film. Fernanda Torres is a part of a fantastic ensemble that feels like a real family. Fernanda Torres brings such a grounded and genuine performance as Eunice Paiva. There is one scene specifically where Eunice Paiva is out with her 4 children at a restaurant after her husband is kidnapped, and the camera specifically focuses focuses on the families that are seated around her, enjoying their ice cream and their lunch, laughing, but her table is quiet. Her children notice that there is something off about her, but she is holding it together for her kids. It's a very reserved performance, but Fernanda Torres delivers on all fronts and she is absolutely worthy of Best Actress. Fernanda Torres' nomination represents more than just the film I'm Still Here. It represents the snub for Best Actress Oscar for her mother in 1999, the decades of snubbing Brazilian actors and actresses for deserving works, and the overall lack of acknowledging truly groundbreaking and impactful movies just because they aren't in the English language. I think Fernanda Torres should and will win the Academy Award for Best Actress in 2025, and I think if you see the film, you can't really argue against why. Carla Sofia Gascon is fantastic in Emilia Perez, but Carla is unhinged on Twitter, and she is not the best performance in Emilia Perez. Mikey Madison is a showstopper in Anora, and on any other year would probably win Best Actress, but she's too new, and the nomination is the win for her. Cynthia Erivo is an undeniable force in Wicked, but there is a Wicked Part 2, and I suspect the Academy may reward her with Best Actress then. And Demi Moore is incredible in The Substance, but she's in less than half of the movie, and I thought that Margaret Qualley's performance was stronger, and she didn't even get the nomination for Supporting Actress. Just as much as winning the Oscar is considered a career award for Demi Moore, the same could be said for Fernanda Torres. Fernanda Torres portrays a real-life person as Eunice in I'm Still Here with such brutal honesty and vulnerability that it is hard to deny the emotional impact she has on you. I just can't see that the Academy members would watch The Substance and then watch I'm Still Here and consciously vote for Demi Moore over Fernanda Torres. In my opinion, Fernanda Torres is the best performance in this category, and I actually do not think it's close. Fernanda deserves to make Oscars history, and I think she's going to. I'm Still Here is the closest contender that Brazil has ever had for some of the top categories at the Oscars, and as mentioned, could very well win some of them. Throughout the nearly 100 years of the Academy Awards, only one Brazilian person has ever won an Oscar, with Luciana Arigi in 1993 for Best Art Direction for the film Howard's End. One person from Brazil in 100 years has ever won an Oscar. That's it. Brazilian filmmakers in total have received 5 international feature Oscar nominations, 2 original song nominations, one of which was for the writers of the song Real in Rio from the animated movie Rio in 2012, and 5 documentary feature Oscar nominations, but again, have never won more than the one Oscar for Luciana Arigi over 30 years ago. In many ways, watching I'm Still Here feels like a reckoning for the people of Brazil, specifically the Paiva family, and the injustice they experienced and continue to by the Brazilian government. Sometimes there are films that come out that give you a sense of urgency, and they make you realize that films do more than just tell stories, but in many ways they preserve history, and they keep history alive. I think the outpouring of love from Brazilian fans for this film is based around wanting to make sure the world knows what happened to the Paiva family and what thousands of people experienced in Brazil in the 1970s. Brazil deserves not only to win the international feature category over Emilia Perez, but it deserves to have just as much media attention as Emilia Perez. If Hollywood shed as much light on I'm Still Here as they have on Emilia Perez, then maybe we would have more filmmakers that seek to preserve history through the art of film, and less filmmakers who focus on controversy, and directors attempting to replicate other cultures without any form of research. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm Still Here represents more than just meets the eye. If Portuguese is your excuse for not watching this film, then subtitles will be your best friend. There is no excuse or reason not to watch a movie that just may very well change your perspective on life. Movies like I'm Still Here are what film is supposed to be all about. It doesn't need the fancy visual effects or the really hot actors naked on screen to keep your attention. It's a gripping story that leaves you hopeful as much as it leaves you feel haunted by a very real and sad past. And for those that experienced it, they are still living with that past. I can't explain what films like I'm Still Here do. They are necessary viewing, especially during a time when it feels like it's harder than ever to find the truth in things. Do yourself a favor, get to a movie theater if you can, and I'm Still Here will be be a film that you do not forget. Even if I am wrong and Fernanda Torres or the film don't win any awards at the Oscars, history has already been made, and because of I'm Still Here, Fernanda Torres, Walter Salles, and Fernanda Montenegro, the recognition for Brazilian cinema will now permanently live in the halls of film history.